I don't actually remember the first time I ever saw it, but I do remember that my parents took me very excitedly to the shops one day and said, "We have a surprise for you." And I didn't know what they were on about, and I sat in the car and they went away to the shops and they came back and they had a Betamax player, like a VHS player. And then we went home and I realized that my next door neighbor had a copy of Star Wars, and I went over the road and we begged them if they could lend it to us, and I put the tape in and my dinner was being cooked and I watched the first 10 minutes and got so excited and then had to go and eat my food, and I ate it the fastest I've ever eaten anything in my life. And I spent that meal thinking, I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And it wasn't become a filmmaker, it was sit and watch Star Wars over and over and over forever until I died.
It was very early on when I was a little girl, and I remember watching it at my cousin's house, and we didn't actually have a VHS player when I was growing up. It was all kind of, books and so we very naughtily, my brother and I would watch videos at my cousin's house, and then the first film we saw was probably Tremors, and then Star Wars was part of our film education. And I remember just sitting cross-legged really close to the television and just seeing the opening crawl of A New Hope and just being completely entranced.
Pues eso que jugaban todos mis primos, que me urgía ser parte de, ¿no? Ese universo del cual ellos ya eran parte y yo no. Yo tenía 6 años, yo creo, cuando me acerqué por primera vez a una película de Star Wars. Yo la vi porque ya me sentía grande, creo que esa primera película o sea, es como ese brinco del cine animado al cine que ya hacían actores de carne y hueso, ¿no? Es esa primera película que yo escogí ver y tenía que ver con eso, con ser parte del mundo de mis primos. Todos tenían pues ya 9, 10, 11, 12 años. Yo era el chiquito, el de 6, y yo quería pertenecer.
It wasn't massive, it wasn't like a conscious effort to go make a war film. It was just when you, as a kid, what the things you get excited about and the visuals that you sort of fall in love with, for me were things like Empire Strikes Back on Hoth. And they had the kind of trench warfare and the AT-ATs come in. And so once someone gives you the keys to Star Wars and says, what do you want to do? Inevitably, like the first things we start drawing and designing are like battle scenes that feel like fresh but still part of Star Wars, and it just grew. But hopefully, what I'm really proud of with the film is that there is this backdrop of a war, and it says in the opening crawl of A New Hope, the first Star Wars film, it says that it was a time of civil war, and so we had to set our film, so it felt like there was some sort of, war going on. But
I think it's very much, for me, it's always the character has to be the focus, and with Rogue we were very keen that Jyn wasn't objectified, that you just relate to her as this person who's trying to make the best of their situation, and it's great. I think it's fantastic for there to be a balance. Well, in my trailer I had lots of pictures that I would put up around that would be kind of inspirational before I went onto set, and Han Solo was a big one. His sort of his way of looking at life, I feel there's a similarity with Jyn.
Es difícil porque es un personaje muy oscuro. Digamos que tiene esta cosa de Han Solo, que cree que todo lo puede hacer solo, ¿no? Y que él puede, o sea, que él va a poder con todo, básicamente. Sí, y Gareth además como es un niñote, Gareth, y está siempre pensando en el juego, y tenía un pequeño amplificador que hacía la respiración, ¿no? Y tú tú lo oías y a mí todavía se me pone la piel chinita. Claro que después de 2 o 3 días, pues ya le pierdes el respeto, ya es así como, ya llega tu marca, ¿no? O sea, a ver, hazte para allá, ahora me toca a mí. Pero al principio sí era muy imponente, además es gigante.
I have no idea what you're on about.
Chan, chan, chan. No te puedo contestar esa pregunta. No te puedo contestar esa pregunta.
Jin, whatever I do it to protect you. So you understand?
I understand.